So for this run, this is a Safari Zone run, so I decided to name myself Safari. And I'm playing on Pokemon Blue, so I ended up going for Squirtle. I'm at the point where it's like, you know, I think Squirtle's the best one to get for doing any sort of Ultimane that you get later on in the game. And because this is a Safari Zone run, I'm going to be going to beat Misty, then I'm going to get cut, and then I'm going to just go traveling all around Kanto, go to Celadon to go to the Rocket Hideout, then go back to get the Poke Flute so that I can get rid of fucking Snorlax, and then I can gotta get the bike too, don't forget the bike, and then you go all the way down the Safari Zone. And so my idea here was basically just go to the Safari Zone and get what I get. But I ran into a really interesting problem with this run. I encountered a new glitch, even though I am following the Glitchless classic rule set. Look at this. So this is something I totally forgot about, but when you level up from 7 to 9, you skip level 8. And I didn't quite realize what had happened yet, but when you skip level 8 in Red and Blue, what happens when you gain experience points is my understanding of it is that it calculates the level based on the experience you get. So when you get the experience, it adds it to your total, pool of experience, and then it calculates what level you should be based on that experience, right? And so what happens is when you have 7 and then you fight this Diglett and then go to 9, you skip leveling up to 8. So you go from 7 to 9. And because you skipped 8 and Bubble is learned at 8, that means you skip Bubble. And so I should just lay out my rules, my general rule set for these runs. And one of them is that I don't want to do any sort of stat resetting. Because to me, I find stat resetting to be like, I don't know how much time you save from stat resetting. So I don't know if it's like an hour, if it's like whatever. I have no idea. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to go and train until I get Water Gun at level 15. And that's pretty much what I did. I've got my list of rules somewhere, but I don't, I have them written on paper somewhere, but I don't quite know where the paper is. God damn it, I had this all listed out. Anyway, my rules are basically, I'm doing this in a single segment. Which means no saving, no quitting, but that also means no saving, like, you know, before the Elite Four members or the rival fight, the champion fight, and then just trying the champion fight over and over. If I lose against the champion, I'm going to have to go back in. You know, that means I continue and carry my experience and all that kind of stuff. So I had to spend, like, I don't know, like 17 years, give or take, getting a Water Gun because I just totally fucked this up. I mean, you can see this, but I totally fucked this up. And then I finally went back into the gym and decided to fight Brock. Now that I've got Water Gun and I'm also level 15, this was super fucking easy. So there you go. But the run started off really well. And again, this is my 4th run, so I'm still really learning. And ultimately, you know what? This is, I don't know, if people have done these kinds of runs before for, you know, getting Pokemon in the Safari Zone. Again, I'm very new to the Pokemon speedrunning scene, and by new, I mean I used to watch speedruns for it like a little bit back in like 2013-ish. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll speedrun Pokemon. And then I never did. I just speedran every other video game in the world instead. And so I'm kind of getting into Pokemon for the first time now. And one of the categories on the speedrunning boards for Pokemon are the alternative main category. And that's where you don't, it's in comparison to custom starter, where you hack or Game Shark code, whatever, or ROM hack your preferred starter Pokemon, or whatever into the very beginning, and then you run the whole game with that. That's a separate thing than finding and tracking down the Pokemon, catching it, and then running the game with that from that point onward. So the way the category works is basically you want to get the Pokemon with the minimum number of badges. So in this case, the Safari Zone, you can actually get to the Safari Zone with only 2 badges. And that's something I've never done before. Like when I get cut, I normally just go right to the Vermilion Gym and fuck up the Lieutenant. But I couldn't do that this time. I had to go and do that whole ring around, go to the Safari Zone, and you're going to be seeing that very soon here. And so I had a really rough start. And my goal with this run was to just catch something in the Safari Zone. And so the way I see it, the stuff I wanted were, I didn't, you know, maybe I'll do Execute at some other point, but Execute is one of the more common Pokemon that's Safari Zone exclusive. But I wanted to get one of the rarer ones, like Chansey, Kangaskhan, Pinsir, and so that's kind of what I was aiming for. And there's separate zones in the Safari Zone. If you don't know, there's separate maps, and they each have different catch rates. And some of them, like Kangaskhan's 1%, some of them it's 4%. But I tried to basically just go around the Safari Zone and just try to catch anything that was in that rarity category, because the way I see it, if I'm going out there with the intention of getting Kangaskhan and that's it, that's what my run is based on, that means I have to deal with the 4% odds. But if I'm willing to accept a Pinsir, if I'm willing to accept a Chansey, well then my odds go up to 5%. And you know what? I'll take it. So I was going to run with basically whatever I got at the Safari Zone, and obviously you know when you clicked on this video, this is Kangaskhan. And so the next time I do a Safari Zone run, I went to the bathroom here, I believe. But the next time I do a Safari Zone run, I will probably try for Chansey. But if I do find another Kangaskhan and catch it, I mean, you know, whatever. I'll try to beat this run, I guess. But either way, getting to the Safari Zone as early as possible. Again, it's something I've never done in Pokemon Red and Blue. Usually, for me, the Safari Zone is something I don't really interact with too much outside of, like, the rare times I want to catch everything. And I haven't done that since I was a child. So, the idea of doing a speedrun category where, you know, you do play as with Squirtle for or Wartortle for the first part of the game, but then you're really just trying to bum rush to the Safari Zone. It's a feeling that I've never really had before playing one of these games. So, it was very fun. I like, sincerely, like, I think it's really cool. And again, I was looking at the speedrun boards, and I don't think anyone's ever done a Kangaskhan run before. I don't know if people have done runs and the speedrun board is just poorly updated or not recent. I'm not sure. But so this may be the first Kangaskhan run, and fortunately for me, it's the world record, to my knowledge, and it's also horrendous. Speaking of horrendous, Misty got destroyed. Again, I lost a little bit against the rival and other stuff here, but, you know, just over leveling at the very start of the game, it took a while at the start. It wasted like probably half an hour or something because I'm a fucking idiot. But it really had the added benefit of kind of just making it easy to steamroll this part of the game, which is fine. I'll take it. And again, Misty is going to be the last gym trainer or gym battle I'm going to be doing for a considerable portion of time, because as soon as I get cut, my goal is going to be to get to the Safari Zone as soon as possible. You know, I take breaks sometimes when I play these games, and of course this is a speedrun attempt, and again, single segment, meaning I can't save and pause and do all that kind of stuff. So whatever, you know, I don't mind eating the time loss in the form of when I need to go use the bathroom or whatever. If I could beat this game in like 2.5 hours, it might be something where it's like, I'll hold it in. I can hold it in for an hour, or like if I, you know, whatever. But, you know, my average time right now is in the 5-hour range, because I'm also doing some of these more, you know, like the Safari Zone is a little obnoxious. It takes a while to catch something, right? So I'm trying to do these more esoteric runs right now, so they are a little longer. And also, side note is that I'm terrible. And so right here, I was trying to catch something that could learn Cut. And I thought Meowth could learn Cut, but turns out no. Meowth cannot Cut. I was blown away. And then I was like, does Pidgey know Cut? I don't know. And then my good friend Bellsprout showed up. My good friend Bellsprout. Of course, I've already done a Bellsprout, well, a Victory Bell run. Maybe one of these days I got to do a full run with just Bellsprout, no evolution. So I caught the Bellsprout for Cut, and then I caught the Pidgey because I thought it might learn Cut, but I also know I need something for Fly, so I was like, I might as well catch a Pidgey. But I was really struggling there. And then now I have a Meowth for some fucking reason. Whatever. Okay, just problems, mistakes were made. Let's enter the rock tunnel here. So, and again, this is kind of like a weird route for me. Like just playing the game. I don't think I've ever played Pokemon Red and Blue with this method. I always do Lieutenant Surge right away, just because it's right there, and I think Lieutenant Surge is how you use Fly, if I remember correctly. I think that's how you get Fly from Lieutenant Surge. So I was just like, it was just such an interesting way to play the game, and that's kind of what I wanted to do with this run, with the Safari, like why I chose the Safari Zone. Because I looked at the speedrun boards, I couldn't find any runs for like stuff like Kangaskhan, so I was like, shit, well fuck, I'll just go do the Safari Zone. And then also, part of the thing that separates this from like custom starter, where you just ROM hack in the starter from the get-go, that's more consistent, that's more like fun, I guess, if you're trying to run for a specific time. But doing it with the Safari Zone and actually trying to catch these motherfuckers. If you've ever played these games, especially Red and Blue, the Safari Zone is just a bunch of shit fuck ass fuck motherfuck. It's just like, you know what I mean, man. Just interacting with the goddamn motherfucking Safari Zone makes you want to blow a motherfucking gasket. It makes you just want to tear your fucking eyes out. And so doing a speed run where it's like, you know, I'm trying to go fast in the Safari Zone, it was, you know. But of course, I'm so bad at this game at the moment that I'm kind of having fun with it. So it's like, you know, that's why I wanted to do the Safari Zone now, because I'm still learning the game. So I feel like I would learn more doing a weird ass route like this where I'm going to the Safari Zone. And I really tried to get this Wartortle to the end of Rock Tunnel. I was one trainer away. Meowth did not save me, and then now I have to fucking do this shit all over again. But I will say, this is my 4th run of Pokemon Red and Blue. Technically my 3rd run. The first one was of green version, but that's whatever. And you can see the little tab at the side here. Check it out, everybody. Look at that. It's editing. I'm editing right now. Is anyone seeing this? This is called editing. I'm editing. There's a table. You can see the runs. But this is my 4th run, and I'm still learning a lot, and I know how to do Rock Tunnel without looking at a guide. I know how to do all the Rocket Hideout, Silphco. I know how to do that without a guide now, so, like, I don't even need a guide anymore, so that's cool. That's awesome. I know I memorized all the dungeons, you know. So, hey, I'm learning by doing this really garbage fucking Safari Zone run. And so, one other thing, again, while I was playing the game at this point, I was thinking, well, am I going for, like, what am I might end up with a Chansey, I might end up with a Kangaskhan, I might even end up with a Pinsir, so I'm kind of, like, routing around that. So, especially when I get to Sylph Corporation, you're going to see me go for, like, you know, I'm going to try to get Earthquake, I'm going to try to get Psychic, when I enter Saffron City, just because I don't know what I'm going to end up getting. So I try to route in, you know, I'm trying to, you know, it's not that special. I mean, Psychic takes like -6 seconds to get Earthquakes right there. It's not, I'm just trying to come up with some way to fill time here. Anyway, I'm fighting Giovanni. And again, just because I'm kind of over-leveled from that starting position, and also this is technically just a Wartortle run at this moment. Giovanni was super fucking easy. And, you know, one other thing about this is I haven't been using escape ropes or anything like that. And by the way, there's Blastoise. So maybe I should really... can you use an escape rope from the game corner? I'm not sure, but maybe I should really start stocking up on escape ropes so that I don't have to fight those 2 extra guys when I leave. And so one thing about this is I forgot about getting the bike. Normally I just I don't like the bike. So when I play Pokemon Red or like just any Pokemon game, like in a casual method, I just ignore the bike almost all the time because I fucking hate the bike. And so just the music, oh my god, it's horrendous. I've said this many times, fuck the motherfucking bike. But I need the bike to go through Cycling Road because that is the fastest way to get to the Safari Zone. So I had to go get the fucking bike, but I forgot to get it earlier. So, you know, just a little bit of wasted time there. But now we're in Pokemon Tower. You know, again, this is the last thing I need to do before I'm able to access the Safari Zone. So all I need to do is beat the Pokemon Tower, get the fucking flute, wake up Snorlax, and then I'm ready to go. And I'm going to take a sip of my coffee here while you enjoy these ghastly fights. Ooh. Some good beans, I'll tell you that. But anyway, here we are. And I'm using Blastoise here, so these fights are really easy. Water is just pretty good against Ghost type. You know, generally speaking, you know, Water Gun. It's Water Gun. You know, it's not super great, but it's good enough. It's good enough to get the job done. And again, Pokemon Tower is something I've really been struggling with. I didn't really even, like, when I was starting the idea, like, from, hey, I'm gonna speedrun Pokemon games for the first time. That sounds like a fun way to waste the rest of my life. And so I was thinking, like, what's going to be the most difficult part? The concept of Pokemon Tower being one of the most difficult parts for me to, like, concern myself with, I didn't even cross my brain when I started doing this. And so, you know, water, pretty good. But the first couple runs, I really was struggling at Pokemon Tower. So, but that's out of the way. Now we're on Cycling Road. And again, we're about to enter the Safari Zone. So I would like everyone to buckle up, put your seatbelt on, maybe get yourself a drink of water, maybe use the bathroom, because we are going to town. So again, there's Pokemon like Rhyhorn, like Exeggcute, that, like, maybe I'll do a run to get those at some point, but I wanted this one to get, like, a more rare Pokemon, either a 4%er or a 1%er. So I'm kind of, you know, of course, I'm not using repels, and, I'm just trying to, like, just see what I get. I'm just on anything that is on the list of what I want, and again, what I want is a Chansey, Kangaskhan, Pinsir. I want to say that there's maybe 1 or 2 other things I'd be willing to... Oh, there's Kangaskhan. I went to the bathroom here. You know, I was like, okay, I got to get into the zone. And then it ran away immediately. Or they ran away immediately. I don't want to call Pokemon it, because that implies that they're not living, breathing creatures. Of course, they're not. They're video game characters, but I don't want to do that. But anyway... Ethical quandaries aside, you know, again, I really wanted to get one of those more rare Pokemon. And again, this is part of the thing that, like, you know, as a speedrunner, I've speedrun a lot of games before, many games. My favorite is Doom. You can look up my Doom speedrun channel if you're interested. And I'm new to Pokemon when it comes to the speedrunning world, so I know Pokemon from childhood and all that kind of stuff. So the idea of speedrunning something like this, where you're running for a 4% encounter and then they run away every fucking time, you know, it seems daunting, it seems scary. But again, I'm willing to run with Chansey, right? So I could run with Chansey. All right, let's throw this fucking ball. I'm willing to take whatever I get, Chansey, Kangaskhan, or whatever. Any low percentage run, low percentage one, I'm willing to get. Rhyhorn, X-Egg maybe I'll get one, maybe I'll allow myself to catch one of those in another Safari Zone run. But because this is my first one, I really wanted to get one of the low percent ones. But Chansey's a motherfucker, I'll tell you. Here's another one. All right, Chansey, let's go. I forgot how fucking goofy Chansey looks in red and blue, by the way. Really funny. But just, it's, again, wasting so much time here. And there's really nothing to do to speed this up. There's really, like there's no strategy. Here's Pinsir. Like, come on, man. Yeah. Oh, motherfucker. Come on. All right. Okay. Oh. All right. Yeah. Oh. And so, like, you know what I would have totally been like, Pinsir is honestly a little bit more interesting. All right. Here's Kangaskhan. Is this the one? Come on. Okay. That's not the one. All right. Let's go. That's not the one. All right. And so, what I'm doing here is called balls only. Balls to the wall, you know? Because the Safari Zone, you think the rock and the bait might actually help you. And maybe they do, but in my opinion, like, when the Pokemon can run at any turn, I'd rather just throw the balls, because when you throw the rock, they can run, and then you didn't even try, right? And so if you throw the bait, then that lowers your chances, and they might stay, right? But then also your chances are so fucking lower that they also just might run away anyway after like 7 or 8 turns. And you just fucked your chances to begin with. So I do the balls only strategy here. I put my balls out, and I hope that I have enough to supply myself with. I never ran out of balls, so I never actually ran out. And I always had enough balls. So, fortunately, I was almost said unfortunately, but, well, it is unfortunate to some degree, but that's a whole separate story. Anyway, we're back to the goddamn thing. I'm just kind of moving back and forth between the zones until I get what I want. Kangaskhan, let's go. Is this the one? Oh. Again, just really funny. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this. Like, if I were really sincerely trying... Okay, here it is. Here it is. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Come on. There it is. There it is. Kangaskhan has been captured. The parent Pokemon. Does that count as kidnapping? Like, I'm kidnapping the parent, too. Right? So it's like a 2-for-1. Right? But, like, if I'm trying to capture the parent, but the parent doesn't let the kid go free... Is that also, like, hey, you want to let the kid go free, feel free, you know, go for it. But, whatever. Anyway, I go try to fight Koga. It doesn't end up going so well. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just go on Cycling Road, fight some of these guys. And, you know, so now, again, so this is where the alt main comes into the fold. So now I got to level up my Safari Zone Kangaskhan. And, you know, my Blastoise at this point is almost level 40, and Kangaskhan's only, like, level 26. So this is, like, another part of this category that I find to be interesting, as opposed to just hacking in a Kangaskhan at the very beginning in Pallet Town, is that you kind of, like, it's an added layer to the run, because the run is prioritizing Kangaskhan. So what that means, and I should have gotten Earthquake here first. I really, really, really should have gotten Earthquake first, but I forgot. Earthquake is on the 10th floor, and I forgot, and also my pack was full. Totally fucked this up, by the way, but whatever. And I like the routing options of you have to, like, go out of your way to get to this area as soon as possible, but then as soon as you capture your new main Pokemon, they're going to be under-leveled. So then there's that weird in-between zone where you kind of have to swap train them, but also, like, you know, Kangaskhan's really good, by the way. Like, I've never run Pokemon Red, Blue, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Yellow, Purple, whatever, X-Ray. I've never run any of these games with a Kangaskhan before. I've always caught them in the Safari Zone, just, you know, as the trophy, and then never ran with them. You know, maybe I've used them in battle once or twice in, like, you know, in the, like, the rental Pokemon shit in, like, Stadium or, like, in Emerald or whatever. So, like, maybe I've used them in that capacity at some point, once or twice, just for fun. But this is my first time really just mainlining a Kangaskhan, and, like, this motherfucker's awesome. Like, honestly, like, really fucking good Pokemon. So now I'm going in to fight, Erica, and, you know, just watch, right? So, again, I'm poisoned. It's not going so well. Blastoise is gone, so... and I'm just, like, I'm trying to level up my Kangaskhan, but I'm also trying to make some progress at the same time. And I figure, like, Erica, you know, it's the closest to where I'm at right now. I don't have Fly yet. So I just figured I'd give Erica a shot. Didn't go so well. But then I figured, well, fuck, I'm already here, and I did kind of level up a little bit. So, you know what? I'm going to go in with a fresh team, full health, see how this goes. And then I ended up using the Poke Flute in battle a few times to wake this bitch up, and that was really funny. I remember when at first I didn't think you could use the Poke Flute in battle, right? For the first many years of me playing Red Blue or Fire Red Leaf Green. I played both. I started really getting into Pokemon when Fire Red had just come out. Before that, I had only rented the games from Blockbuster, so I didn't have that much of a personal experience with the games before that. But when Fire Red came out, I played the shit out of those, and then I went back and bought Red and Blue, and then played the fuck out of those, and then played them back and forth. And I loved, like, tracking all the differences and stuff. And so... You know, when I first realized you could use the Poke Flute, like, as an awakening, and it's just an infinite awakening, I was like, what? Because I just thought it was a key item for the longest time. And that's just really funny. So there's TM26. That's Earthquake. I should have just taught Earthquake immediately, but I was like, I picked it up, and then I forgot that I don't know, and then I fought this guy on accident. Hey, whatever, man. And then I'm like, ah, fuck, I gotta make Earthquake happen. And Earthquake is one of Kangaskhan's most powerful moves. But again, like, Kangaskhan is normal type, by the way. I kind of thought Kangaskhan might have been ground type. I don't know, man. I've never really used this motherfucker, you know? So I'm not super, educated on the subject? Informed? I don't know. I'm not any of those things. And so, whatever, man. Hey, whatever. But Earthquake is just really fucking good, and it one-shots almost anybody. And then you could also get a move like Takedown or Strength even, or Body Slam. I ended up getting, I kind of just like shot from the hip with Kangaskhan's moveset. I kind of didn't really know what to do with it. You know, I was kind of hoping like, when I started this run, I was kind of more so hoping I'd get a Chansey than a Kangaskhan, just because Chansey, I don't know, to me it seems rarer. Just, I think it has a harder catch rate. And I know they have the same spawn rate in the Safari Zone, but I think it's a harder catch rate for Chansey. And my evidence for that is the fact that when you throw the ball, it says that you missed a lot. And that's a weird mechanic in Gen 1. So I taught Kangaskhan Thunderbolt, which again, Thunderbolt. Now, I was trying to speculate as to why, in my Primeape run, why Primeape could possibly learn Thunderbolt. And so my speculation was that, like, Primeape's like a really fast, like, fighting type Pokemon, right? And so, you know, like in anime and stuff, and like in comics, like, they will use like lightning or like thunderbolts or lightning, right, to simulate, you know, high speed, you know, like when you jump really high, like you might leave a trail of lightning or whatever. And so you see that a lot. So I was speculating, okay, maybe that's why Primeape knows Thunderbolt. And then Kangaskhan can learn Thunderbolt. And I don't get it. But anyway, I don't need to get it because I'm going up against Koga. And now that I'm level 37, really I'm kind of all caught up at this point. Level 37, Blastoise is like, what, 40, 41? So I'm kind of like at this point, you know, all caught up in terms of like effectiveness. You know, like I don't need to really consistently switch out too much. I think I ended up needing to switch out here with Weezing. Yeah, Weezing kicked my ass here. So then I revive my Kangaskhan and then go for Surf, Toxic, and I got scared. And then as soon as I bring Blastoise out, this is the coolest thing in the world. Look at this. I use Double Team, and then they self-destruct and miss. Now, honestly, I would prefer they self-destruct and take Blastoise out. I don't even think Blastoise would have gotten taken out. I think they have too much HP. I would have preferred that, because then Kangaskhan would have gotten more experience, but that did not end up happening, unfortunately. But hey, whatever. So then I do something weird, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go to Cinnabar Island and do this section next. Because I figured, like, the Sylph Corporation, you know, that's a little bit whatever. And then Sabrina seems a little bit whatever, too. Here's Magmar. I love Magmar. I gotta do a Magmar run one of these days. Sabrina seems a little bit whatever. But you know what? Blaine. Yeah, Blaine. I have Surf on Kangaskhan, so I'll just use an Earthquake. So I'll just go up against Blaine. And so doing Blaine this, you know, it's not that early, but, you know, a little early is something I've never really done before, so this is kind of fun. On principle, I decided, once again, the first quiz in this game is wrong. It says Caterpie evolves into Butterfree, which is not true. George Orwell saw this coming, and so as a result, I fought that first trainer, because, again, Caterpie evolves into Metapod. Metapod evolves into Butterfree. Caterpie does not evolve into Butterfree. That is not how the game works. That is false information. They're trying to lie to you. 2 + 2 = 4, not 5, motherfuckers. Anyway, this is it. This is Blaine. As you can see, even though I'm so much lower level, I just steamrolled this motherfucker, and I got a lot of experience. Now, Fire Blast. I found this out a little bit later, that Kangaskhan can learn Fire Blast. And I kind of think I really should have taught Fire Blast, but I ended up keeping Dizzy Punch. And I don't have Dizzy Punch yet. I have Mega Punch at the moment, and then I upgrade to Dizzy Punch later. And then Leer at level 41, by the way. That's weird. So I ended up keeping the normal type move, just because I wanted that stab thing. But I don't know, I think Fire Blast might have been better for some of the Elite Four, or at least the champion, just for Venusaur's sake. Because Venusaur, even though Venusaur, like, it claims that it's super effective when you use Earthquake, it's really not. Because there's this, like, weird type thing with super effective moves in Gen 1, where it's like, it'll display the wrong text sometimes. Regardless of whether or not it's super effective on the internals, on the actual damage calculation, it might display something else because of a dual typing. Here's Giovanni, by the way. It's not, who cares? Super easy fight at this point. But, you know, I don't know. So I didn't really have that many good moves against Venusaur, and so I was a little bit nervous. In retrospect, maybe I should have taught Fire Blast. I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm fighting Sabrina here. Sabrina, super hard. I usually lose against Sabrina at least once, but let's see how this goes. I've been really relying on shit like revives in this run. Just reviving my, you know, my Pokemon when they faint, and trying to switch out to these guys just to get like some, you know, look at that. I'm trying to potion my guys up. You know, I'm really relying on items a lot because, you know, again, historically when I would play Pokemon as a kid, I would just never use items in battle. Like, I would just, you know, if I lose, I just level up. But, you know, this is a speed run, so I am trying to take advantage of the items that I have, and I don't mind using them in battle. I don't mind buying more items, because at the end of the day, I am trying to do a speed run. But I beat Sabrina, super easy, and then, of course, as soon as you beat Sabrina, you go and fight Giovanni. Now, normally I would go and do Cinnabar Island, but no, I just went from Sabrina to Giovanni. And you know what? Honestly, like, this is a good route. I might just do this anyway. Like, you know, Sabrina's usually a little bit more troublesome, so just doing Blaine first. Usually Blaine is a lot more easy just from typing. So, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna do Blaine before Sabrina on the rest of my runs. You know, probably, maybe. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll find out. But here's Dizzy Punch, and Dizzy Punch ended up being my main normal move for the rest of the game. So that's Giovanni. Now that's all 8 badges, and one thing with this video as opposed to the previous videos is I'm trying to punch up the editing a little bit. Well, and when I say punch up, I mean I'm just playing around with different editing styles. So this, I'm trying to make this a little bit shorter than an hour, even though this is not my shortest run. Again, consult the chart. Can someone consult the chart? We got a chart. Can you pull up the chart? Yeah. Okay. There it is. Thank you. Consult the chart, you can see that this is not actually my fastest run so far, and I just blame it on not on my poor play with skipping bubble at the start, because that's not my fault, man. The game glitched. By the way, I'm fighting the rival. Who cares? It's a super easy fight. Alakazam threw me for a loop, but recover easy mode. And so Primeape I think was still faster than this, and when I say I think, I mean that's just what it was. So I'm blaming the Safari Zone. It took so long. I could have just caught the first one, man. It's the game's fault, man. Totally not me skipping bubble. Totally not user error. It's definitely the game's fault. So once again, I'm still learning these games. I'm still trying to figure out the best method of play. I'm still trying to figure out the best approach for just getting through the games. I'm still trying to figure out the best hidden items to get, which items to skip, which ones, all that kind of stuff. So still learning. These times are probably ones I'll go back to and beat later on at some point when I know the route a little bit more, when I know the game a little bit better. And also, again, these are single segment runs. I'm not saving and quitting for any purpose. I'm also not resetting at all for stats. And that's one of the things why I didn't reset. By the way, here we go. This is the Elite Four first attempt. So there you go. Watch it while I explain some other stuff. And one of the reasons why I didn't reset when bubble happened, the bubble skip, the classic bubble skip, one of the reasons was because if I reset for that, it's so early in the game. I don't know, man. If you've ever been a speedrunner for any amount of time, long time, I'm not talking about you did a speedrun once or twice, last summer, and now you're a speedrunner. I'm saying I've been a speedrunner for well over 10 years. And to me, I hate resetting. I just hate it. It's the worst thing in the world. And because I'm still learning these games, I'm just not going to reset. These are all single segment. I load the game up. I play with what the game gives me. If I have the worst DVs in the world, I don't even know. I'm not even checking their stats. Frankly, I don't even know what stat represents what DV in the level 5 range. I don't know. And I'm not going to learn that until much, much later, because right now I'm just enjoying the games. So I felt like if I could have reset, I felt the desire to reset when bubble happened. I lose, by the way. I went and tried to buy some more stuff, get some X specials, X speeds, see if that would pump up Kangaskhan. By the way, it ended up really pumping up Kangaskhan quite a lot. And now let's try again. But again, I could have reset over that bubble fiasco, but I chose not to. I chose to grit my teeth, and as a result, Kangaskhan had to bear the brunt. Because really, this should have been my fastest run. This is definitely my best run execution-wise. Even with that bubble fiasco, and I know that bubble fiasco was terrible. But still, I'm just learning so much about the game in comparison to the last time I played that I feel like this is my best run actually so far. But again, Safari Zone, that took half an hour or something just looking for the guy, and then also I fucked up with the bubble at the very beginning. Easy hour you could chop off of this bitch. And I'm just Thunderbolting the win here. Thunderbolt is not super good right now, and I really should have just been using X specials, but I was like, I could probably do Laura Lee without doing X specials, so whatever. Then we got Bruno. Bruno, you just do Surf to win. I didn't really know what to do for some of the other Pokemon, so I kind of just tested out all the different moves, Thunderbolt, Dizzy Punch, Earthquake, which one works the best? I don't fucking know. There you go, level 52. Alright, easy. Not so easy. Let's try Earthquake. Okay, Dizzy Punch. Alright, how about try that again? And critical hit. There you go. That's Bruno. So Agatha. I had a lot of problems with Agatha in some of my previous attempts. And frankly, Agatha did not pose any issue to me in this run with Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan's got Thunderbolt, Surf, and Earthquake. All of which that can totally decimate any of Agatha's, roster. Gengar, easy mode. Haunter, not even a challenge. Arbok, whatever. Golbat, whatever. This is an easy mode team. So I still kind of have a little bit of the post-traumatic stress disorder from last run with Primeape. But I'm easy peasy here. So now we're going into Lance. And you may be wondering, like, is this run almost over? You know, am I gonna first try the Elite Four? Well, the answer is no, because I've already lost. But the first time, you know, when I go into the Elite Four, the first one, it's just like a kind of like a reconnaissance type of video. I want to see what I'm up against. I want to see how easy it is, and then I go out and buy items and do that accordingly. So, you know, in that sense, this is my first try. If I just come up with some excuse to disregard my actual first try, well, then that makes this one my real first try. You know, even though it's my second try. But whatever, man. We'll see how it goes. Fighting Lance, you know? Lance was super easy, by the way. A little scary in some instances. This Dragonite, I was a little concerned with. I didn't really know what to do, what attacks to use, but it ended up just using a bunch of fake attacks that didn't really mean anything. And then it ended up with fucking Hyper Beam. So, like, cool. And then they fucking healed, which is, like, you know, cool. So, and then I got into a situation, I was just waiting for Bellsprout to get killed. And then I was like, what is happening here? Why is this happening? Why am I fighting with the Bellsprout? I was just trying to use Bellsprout temporarily so that I could revive Kangaskhan. And then I was like, am I just going to kill Dragonite with Bellsprout? Is this happening? Is this happening? The answer is yes. A level 16 Bellsprout just destroyed the final Elite Four trainer and their best Pokemon, a level 16 Bellsprout. So shoutouts to Red and Blue's AI. And also shoutouts to a loser, who is apparently the Pokemon champion. Not for long! And so, here we go. This was very easy. I used up all my rare candies, as you saw, so now I'm level 60. And, you know, this would be the lowest level out of any run that I've done, the lowest level of completion. So that counts for something. Maybe not the fastest time, but the lowest level, that's something, you know? That's something. And so, spoiler alert, I win here. Just mild spoilers, you know, I'm not, you know, I kind of already have given the game away, but, just a mild spoiler, I do win. And so, for the rival fight, I'm really trying to chalk up, Kangaskhan full of X specials, and, I don't know how frankly, I don't know how much X special or X speed really boosts your shit. I don't know, actually, I never looked it up. So I imagine it boosts it, like, I don't know, 1.25x or something. That's my, like, if I were to design these games, that's what I would do. I don't know if that's actually what it does. So I used, like, a couple of them. Is it enough? Did I use too many? Was it too, I don't know, whatever. But again, almost every Pokemon here was super fucking easy, except for two, which would be Venusaur and Alakazam. Alakazam was actually a little bit easier. I was very grateful that Alakazam went so quickly, but Venusaur really, I had a problem here. I didn't really know what attacks to be using, and just nothing ended up doing that much damage. So again, in retrospect, maybe I should have just put Fire Blast on, at least put Fire Blast on Kangaskhan going into the rival fight, maybe like after Lance, before the rival fight. That's what I would do if I were to run this again. Or maybe that's what you out there, you, the -7 people that are watching this, you can put Fire Blast on Kangaskhan in your world record today, if you want, because this is garbage and anyone could do better than me, which I hope they do. My goal, by the way, just, you know, is to just basically do a run of every alt-main Pokemon. So I don't know how many that is. I know you can't do Mewtwo. You know, there's probably a couple other ones, like the version exclusive, so like, but the version, you know, you just play on the different version. So I don't know how many, you can get before fighting the Elite Four or whatever, but I'm gonna try to do every single Pokemon, and then at some point, of course, I'm gonna try to do the no evolutions too, right, because those count too. But, you know, maybe I'll focus on some evolutions first, I'm not sure. But either way, here we go. Kangaskhan did the final hit, Dizzy Punch, and loser was very dizzy. Very distressed, even, after losing to a level 60 Kangaskhan. And, you know, again, this one was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing the Safari Zone, and playing around with a little bit different editing style this time around. So this one is going to be about a 40-minute video instead of like an hour and a half or whatever. So thank you for watching, and don't know what I'm going to do next. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I mean, desperately hoping that you enjoyed watching this, because if you didn't, well, fuck.